what's up? Hello, my name is Emma and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Now this is a tag that was created a very long time ago by Chammy from Read Like Wildfire and Elle from Earl Grey Reads. The mid-year book freakout tag is essentially a video where we reflect on our past 6 months of reading and we talk about what we are anticipating for the second half of the year. I know this video may be like a little bit early, but personally every year I want to do this tag and then it's like end of August and I'm like, there's no point now, so better early than never, right? That's not the saying, is it? Question number 1 is the best book you've read so far in 2017. I have 2 answers for this because one of them is very obvious, and that is of course Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. I love this book so much with all of my heart. I have a 30-minute review of it that I will leave linked below if you want to know all of my thoughts on Lord of Shadows, but of course definitely my favorite book of 2017. I do not think a single book is going to surpass it for me just because this book is so beautifully constructed and it is from my favorite series of all time, the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So it was just a recipe for a really amazing book and I'm so happy I read it. But the other option I wanted to throw out there was The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. The Hate U Give is a book that was inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and it follows a black teen named Star who is the sole witness to an unlawful murder of her best friend who is shot while unarmed, and it really just sparks this national revolution about justice, and it really is about using your voice, and I just loved it so much. It really is a fantastic book if you're looking to open up your eyes to a different perspective, or maybe you're looking to be identified because you can find a common ground with these characters. I'd highly recommend it. It's definitely one of my favorite books of the year. Question number 2 is your favorite sequel of the year, and of course that is going to be, again, Lord of Shadows. Surprisingly, I haven't read a ton of sequels this year. Lord of Shadows is only the second one, and I really could not pick anything else because nothing compares to this sequel. It was so fantastic. Go read it and talk about it with me, please. Question number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet but really want to, and I'm going to go with A Court of Winks and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I'm currently in BEA preparation mode. I'm filming all of these videos beforehand, so it's very possible that I will have read Akawar by the time this video goes up because I did just get it on audiobook as well to listen to on a drive to my dad's house. So possibly I will have read it by the time you're watching this, but right now I haven't read it yet and I really want to. I personally love the first 2 books in this series. Both of them were so fantastic and new and just really wonderful in my opinion. They were fun, they were emotional, they were just really fantastic books, and I'm super excited for the 3rd installment, especially because if I'm correct, this is the story where our cast and main character's story ends and the following books in this series will take up with some other characters, which is definitely interesting, but I want to know what happens to my babies. The other thing about Akawar is I have heard a lot of controversy surrounding some of the characters and content of this book. I will leave some Twitter threads below because I feel like certain people have done a way better job at explaining this than I could have, especially because it's not my lane. There has been a lot of talk about some aphobic content, about some biphobic content and lesbophobic content. So there have been a lot of people that were harmed by some excerpts of this book, but there are other people who have read the book and really identified with some of the characters from the LGBT community and felt like the representation was good in the end, and a lot of that was taken out of context. So there's a lot for me to kind of comprehend at the moment. Regardless, this is something I'm going to continue talking about when I do read Akawar, and I will let you know, although it's not really my place to give you my opinion, I'll let you know what I've learned from listening to other people in the community as well as my own personal reading experience. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to read the 3rd book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have to go with They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This was on my list of most anticipated releases for 2017. It comes out September and I'm really excited for it. Adam is a fantastic author. He's a good friend of mine. I love him so much and his books, so I of course cannot wait for his 3rd release. TBD is set in a kind of near futuristic world where they have developed this company using science and different sorts of factors to determine the day you are going to die. So this organization called Deathcast gives you a call up, says you have 24 hours to live, set your affairs in order, and then you die. So there is this app called the Last Friend app where people who are each on their respective end days are able to interact and they are able to like complete their bucket list and, you know, part this world the way they want to with this knowledge, and it's about 2 boys that meet on the Last Friend app, and I'm really excited for it. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment. I have to go with Caraval by Stephanie Garber, unfortunately, because this was a book that I was really anticipating, but all of my expectations did not follow through. I ended up giving Caraval 2 out of 5 stars. I will leave my Goodreads link below go into that review because I feel like it goes way more in depth as to why I didn't enjoy this book as much. Ultimately, I just felt this whole book really just missed the mark. The characters were bland in my opinion. The plot was really weak. The construction of the world was really, really underdeveloped. It just all around was not a good book in my opinion, and as somebody who loves the circus arts, and this was sold to me as a book about a carnival, about a circus, and all this crazy fantasy elements happened, it really, really wasn't for me, and I'm very sorry to say that because I really wanted to like it. Question number 6 is your biggest surprise of the year, and I have to go with How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake. Now, through my booktube experience, I've realized that the books that tend to really surprise me are often ones that I pick up for review. A lot of times with review books, I accept them because the synopsis sounds interesting to me, but it may not have been something that I would have passed at the bookstore and really picked up, and I feel like How to Make a Wish fits that category. Like, I read the synopsis, I was really interested in it, and I've been really excited to read it, but I don't know if I necessarily would have picked it up when I did if I wasn't offered it for review, because HMH Teen is sponsoring a review that you will be getting later in the year, which I'm really excited to talk about because I absolutely loved this book. How to Make a Wish essentially follows a bisexual girl named Grace who is coping with her mother's really destructive alcoholism, but she meets a girl named Eva over the summer, and the two really connect, and it's the first time in Grace's life where she feels grounded and not like this person who has all these external responsibilities. She really feels like she can be herself like a teenager with Eva, and that's very important. So I wouldn't say I necessarily went into How to Make a Wish with low expectations because I was really, really loving it, and right before I read it was when people started talking about it, so it made me even more excited. But I just really found myself loving this book more than I expected to, and that was personally a big surprise. So definitely keep your eyes out for that spoiler-free review coming very soon because I am so excited to talk about this fantastic book with you guys. Question number 7 is favorite new to you or debut author. I'm personally going with an author that is new to me in 2017, although their books have been published beforehand, and that is Becky Albertalli, the author of Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda and The Upside of Unrequited. I read Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda in January as a part of the biannual Bibliothon, and then I read The Upside of Unrequited for review, so I do have a spoiler-free review of this one if you want to check that out below. Becky Albertalli is a person I have been following for quite a long time, although I haven't picked up her books until now. I love all of her tweets. She seems like the sweetest woman in the world, and she's always very interactive with her readers on social media. But I finally read her books, and I understand the hype. I really, really love Becky Albertalli's books. I'm so glad I started giving them a chance this year, and I cannot wait to read more from her in the future. Question number 8 is your new fictional crush. Now, honestly, I have read a ton of books in 2017 so far. I've read like 30-something books at this point, but I haven't read a lot of swoony new characters other than Gwyn ap Nudd, the leader of the Wild Hunt from the Dark Artifices series, because I totally fell in love with him in Lord of Shadows, so you're either gonna have to read the book or watch my review to find out why he is my favorite little teddy bear in the world. So instead, I wanted to change this to my new favorite OTP, which is going to be Mare and Denna from A Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. Another book I have reviewed this year. I feel like I've been doing a lot more reviews this year, which I'm loving, but I just loved Denna and Mare so much. I am extremely connected to these characters after reading their story. I really cannot comprehend how somebody could read a story about two princesses falling in love and like not be emotionally attached to them, because that's all I feel for Denna and Mare. Honestly, I cannot remember the last time I read a book about a main couple that had so much chemistry like Denna and Mare do. Like, they really blow so many YA couples out of the water for me. I said this in my review that there have been so many books that I've been reading where I'm like, oh, like these two are kissing, like that's really cute. But Denna and Mare just speak to each other and my body is electrified. I have butterflies in my tummy. There is just something about these two characters that complement each other so well, and I really, really loved reading about them, and I just want more. Question number 9 is new favorite character, and I have to go with Julia from Your Welcome Universe by Wendy Garner. Another book I have filmed a review for. Don't know if it's up yet. Like I said, I've been pre-filming like crazy, so if it's up, I'll link it below, like I've linked all of these reviews I'm mentioning below. I just love Julia so much. She is a deaf Indian teenager who is a really talented street artist. I love the fact that Julia stands up for herself. I love that she does not accept anything less than ultimate respect from the people around her. Julia definitely overcomes a lot of adversity in her way, being a deaf character who needs to attend a mainstream school where everyone is able to hear when she has to use an interpreter to just make it through the day. I just think Julia is so cool. She's definitely the type of person I would want to be friends with in real life, and she's so lovable. Although she seems rough around the edges at some points in the story, I honestly just want to give her a hug and like watch movies and eat food with her because she seems so freaking awesome. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry, and I have to go with A Tragic Kind of Wonderful by Eric Lindstrom. This is about a girl named Mel who has bipolar disorder, and Mel goes through some shit in this book. I really don't want to go into too much because I feel like this is a book that you really do need to experience as the book unfolds, and you don't really want to know too much going into it. But Mel has family issues, she has a lot of friend issues, she has some identity issues, and I really felt for this girl. It was definitely another surprising read for me because I picked it up on a whim after hearing maybe like one review of it. I went to Barnes & Noble, I picked it up, I read it that day, and it was just so fantastic. I was crying so hard at the end of it. This is definitely a book that has a very powerful ending, and it really blew me off of my feet. If you love mental health books like I do, I would really recommend A Tragic Kind of Wonderful being put on your TBR. I think it will definitely have the impact it had on me on other people, and I would love for more people to experience this story. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and I couldn't go with anything other than When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. This book recently just came out, but I read it earlier in the year because I was sent an advanced reader copy by the publisher, which I'm super grateful for because I loved this book so much. I say this every time I talk about When Dimple Met Rishi. If you are looking for your cute summer contemporary read, When Dimple Met Rishi is it. This book is just filled with so many funny and adorable moments. It's the type of book where you're going to be reading it all the way through with a smile on your face because it's impossible not to feel happy while reading it. The characters are so great, the plot is really well constructed, and there is literally so much humor in this that you will be laughing out loud, I promise you. I finished the book and I was like, Emma, you can't reread this right now. I know how much you loved it and how much you want to reread it, but you just have to read something else. But all I wanted to do was reread it and re-experience all of the greatness of this book, and it's another one I'd highly recommend. Question number 12 is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you've seen this year. I feel like this question really shows the fact that this tag was created in 2015 because 2017 is just not the year of book to movie adaptations. We had a ton in like 2012, 13, 14, 15, even 16. Things have kind of mellowed out this year, and I feel like there are more coming out in the future, but just 2017 there haven't been a ton. I did watch Everything, which I really enjoyed. I wouldn't necessarily consider it my favorite of the year because I have something else I want to talk about, but my review of the Everything film will be below if you want to chat about it with me. So I didn't go with a movie because I have only seen one book to movie adaptation this year, but a book to TV adaptation I really loved is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I listened to the audiobook of 13 Reasons Why in one day. The next day, I started the TV show. I finished it so quickly. I rewatched it 3 times and I made a 30-minute review on it. Again, this is the year of reviews for me, apparently. That review will be linked below as well. I personally really loved 13 Reasons Why, the book as well as the TV show. I absolutely do have problems with it, with the way that it handles mental health, or I should really say shouldn't, because there is really no mention of mental health in a book about suicide, and that's a problem. And there are the very valid critiques of this is a suicide revenge fantasy, which I don't necessarily agree with myself, but I can totally see why other people feel that way. But as an adaptation, I thought it was probably like best case scenario. They really kept everything in. Like, I really can't pinpoint a ton of scenes that they didn't leave in or that they significantly changed. There was just so much extra content included that really added to the story, like the additional perspectives that we don't get in the book, all of the other plot lines going on, and that crazy ending. I really feel like the 13 Reasons Why TV show is a beautiful piece of artwork. It was amazing. I really loved it, and I cannot wait for season 2. Question number 13 is your favorite review that you have written this year, or else as a booktuber, what is your favorite booktube video that you filmed this year? So like I said, this is the year of reviews for me, so I want to share a review that I am very happy with, and again, super early filming. I don't know if this review was up yet or not. But the book I wanted to choose was The Definitions of Indefinable Things. This is another book that HMH Teen is sponsoring a review for as a part of their Summer of Love campaign, so I am going to be posting a review very soon, and I really promise you this video is not sponsored by HMH Teen. I just really liked the books they sent me for this campaign. Definitions of Indefinable Things follows these 2 depressed teenagers who have had their own experiences in life, but they come together as they can really identify with each other. I really loved Definitions of Indefinable Things because I feel like it just takes a totally different route to approaching depression as compared to a lot of the other mental health books I've read in YA. Part of the reason why I'm so proud of this review is because I feel like I really looked into the depths of the story and really analyzed its content more than I normally do. I had a video once called The Great Rating Crisis of 2016 where I talked about the fact that my rating and reviewing kind of method was all over the place and I didn't feel like I was being as critical as I'd like to, and I feel like I really achieved my like peak reviewing status with this book. You know, there were just points that I would be noticing while reading, and while I would be taking notes and writing that review, I'd be like, hey, that's a pretty cool point. Like, you should be proud that you picked up on that, and like, I'm really excited to talk about this. I don't know if you personally are a reviewer and maybe can relate to like really being proud of a review that you have written, but that's how I feel with definitions of indefinable things. And again, if it's already up, I'll link it below. If not, you'll see it this June. But I loved this book so much, and I can't wait to talk about it more in depth with you guys. Question number 14 is the most beautiful book you have bought or received this year, and I'm going to go with the UK cover of Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm assuming this question is talking about book covers, and if it is, like, how could I have picked anything else? This was a part of one of the Fairy Loot unboxings that I did this year, which I really, really loved picking out this beautiful, beautiful book out of that box. I had mentioned before, I haven't read Strange the Dreamer. I don't know if I am going to or when I'm going to get to it because the synopsis is just so intimidating, and I'm afraid I'm going to start reading this book, get confused and frustrated, and DNF a book for the first time in my life. That's how you know I'm concerned. I've heard such great reviews, and I know so many people love it, but it doesn't feel like it's the right fit for me as a reader, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate how freaking gorgeous this book is. I try my very hardest to not like gush over book covers all the time, but like, you can't tell me you don't love this book cover. It's got this beautiful gold foil on the front with this constellation-y blue-purple background, and it's got the same symbol on the back. It's just so beautiful. I can't even contain myself. And question number 15 is, what are some books that you need to read by the end of this year? I just recently posted a series TBR kind of video for the summer, so I'm not going to be talking about anything in there, but there are 2 books that I am really planning on reading this year. The first is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which was gifted to me for my birthday, and I am very, very excited to read this book. It's been recommended to me 1,000 times over. It seems like something I am really going to love, and I can't wait to give it a shot. And the next book I would like to read by the end of this year is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, as well as just in general more adult psychological thrillers. I was in such a kick at the end of 2016 reading adult psychological thrillers. I really loved Gone Girl, and I have been dying to read more of Gillian Flynn's works. I have gotten myself in this like diverse reads contemporary kick that I can't get myself out of, and I've really missed reading adult psychological thrillers, so I would like to delve more into some of these books in the future that I have been collecting. I know I'm going to love them, I just need to be in the right mood, so I hope I can find the time to read it this year as well. So that is really it for the mid-year book freakout tag. I'm going to tag some of my favorite small birds, Michael from Michael Book Line, Sarah from Sarah Without an H, and Whitney from Whitney Novels. I'm also going to tag all of my BioBabe girls as always, and I will link all of those channels down below if you want to check them out, which I would really recommend. I have honestly read so many great books this year that I had so much fun talking about, and I know I have 6 months of really exciting reads coming up for me as well. So let me know in the comments, just generally, what was your favorite book that you've read so far this year, and what is one you're really looking forward to reading. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!